the Lord. Our theme text is coming from Hebrews chapter 13, and verse 5, and it reads, "And be content with such things as you have, for he has said, I will never leave you nor forsake you." Before, during the Roman period, they did not have numbers. They would use letters to denote numbers, and whenever they had to write a bigger number, they would have to string many letters together, and it would become very cumbersome because it would be such a huge number with so many letters, M, C's, V's, and it was while doing mathematical calculations, it was very inconvenient. But in the Middle East, around Baghdad, there was mathematicians who discovered zero. They had their own numbering system. In India developed zero, and the Arabs, they borrowed it, and they used that in their numbering system. And that zero made such a difference. Suddenly, with the Arab numbers, Arab numerals, and with the zero, they could now write huge numbers in just a short form. It became so convenient, and became more convenient to do calculations. And it is the same numbering system that we have adopted in the English script, with little modification. And that zero, which was developed in India and adopted by the Arabs, this concept of nothingness, right? It is such an abstract concept that it takes a little bit of genius to really come think about it. Even if you try to imagine nothingness, still it is something, because your consciousness is observing. True nothingness would even remove your consciousness. It will bring obscurity, oblivion. And with that idea of absolute nothingness, it is such a blessing to have something compared to nothing. Something, even the smallest, has a huge advantage, has a very precious value than absolute nothingness, even the smallest thing. Today people live very unsatisfied. People are very sad about losing jobs, losing health, losing so many things. But in Psalms chapter 37, verse 16, it says, "Better is a little than that the righteous has than the abundance of many wicked." Even the little that righteous has is much more than the abundance of the wicked. In Proverbs chapter 15, verse 16, it says, "Better is little with the fear of the Lord than great treasure with trouble." It's so much more to have little with God than to have great things but yet have trouble. And again in Proverbs chapter 16, verse 8, it says, "Better is the little with righteousness than great revenues with injustice." Little is so much better if righteousness, if God is with us, with it, if God's blessing is on it. than having nothing at all, than having uh, something that is uh, taken by wrong means. And a little, some people say it is so little. What does it matter? What the little that I have in God, it's not as much as other people have who do evil. But your little is much more when compared to nothingness, oblivion, obscurity. You have much more with God than without Him. In Philippians chapter 4 verse 11, Paul is saying, "Not that I speak in respect of lack, for I have learned in whatever state I am to be contented." So Paul is saying, whatever state I am in, whether I am rich, whether I am poor, whether I am going through trouble, whether I am at peace, whether I have friends or whether I don't have friends, everything is going good or whether everything is going wrong. In whatever state I am in, I have learned to be content. I have learned to be happy. I have learned to be satisfied in God. In Ecclesiastes, Solomon goes on an adventure, trying out pleasure, happiness, wealth, possessions. Chapter 2 verse 1, "I said in my heart, come now, I will test you with mirth, therefore enjoy pleasure." And then he, after all of this, he says, "And behold, this also was vanity." Everything was meaningless when it was not blessed by God, when God was not there. The great things that you have is nothing. It can never give you happiness if God is not there. Your great riches will fail to provide happiness. Even in 1 Timothy chapter 6 it says, "But having food and clothing, we will be content with that." Another translation says, "And having food and raiment, let us be content therewith." There's food and raiment. Even Solomon it says, "Don't give me too much riches, neither give me too much, neither give me poverty. Just give me my daily bread. Lest I should have too much and forget God, or have too little or curse God. Just give me what is enough." And with God, even the little thing becomes more. We can have a satisfied and happy life with God than with the riches of evil. And that's where we come to Hebrews chapter 13, verse 5. "And be content with such things as you have, for God has said, I will never leave you nor forsake you." God has made a promise that He will never leave us nor forsake us. And it should be more than enough for us as believers in an omnipotent God. This promise should mean more than all our lack, all our need. Because God Himself, the owner of all things in heaven, is with us. And if He is with us, we have more than we need. We'll never be in lack. The young lions hunger and lack, but those who trust in the Lord, those who fear in the Lord, those who love the Lord, will never have any lack. And we can encourage ourselves. In verse 6 it says, "So that with good courage we can say, the Lord is my helper. I will not fear. What can man do to me?" And I pray that these verses, these promises will be ours too. That God will be sufficient in all our need, in all our lack, in all our wants. He will be everything for us and satisfy all our needs. God bless us all.
Amen.